Paul Finebaum, that you call him. I call him Paul Finebaum, which is his name. You call him Paul Finebaum. I got to find out why you would think, why Paul Finebaum is thinking that he needs to become uber relevant right now. He's been in the news every day because he's doing some hot take shit. I really don't mind it. It don't matter to me. But he's saying, like, after this season, he's the guy to replace Lincoln Riley. Now, I'm hearing Lincoln Riley's seat is hot. I'm hearing it for a lot of different reasons, too. I heard last year it was a foregone conclusion he would have left to the Raiders if he would have got that job. He was a Raider, and Kingsbury would have been the SC coach. Kingsbury would have been the SC coach. Remember, I predicted it on the show, and I know for a fact that it was like this far apart from happening. And Antonio Pierce got the job, which I'm glad he did. So they kept him there. What they really were going to go after Lincoln. He's not an LA guy, Smitty. He's losing big-time California recruits to big-time programs such as Alabama, Oklahoma, where he was, Texas, A&M, other places. But Deion's not the answer. I don't think.
Well, let me jump in real quick, man. I think you're right in terms of there's a lot of questions that are unknown that we need to see, and only time will tell. But I actually think Deion could be the answer at USC simply because of his great recruiting ability. You combine that with the history of USC, the location of it being right there in SoCal. I can only imagine the type of star-studded athletes and players that Deion could get to SC. You couple that with the NIL capabilities and the money that he could get at SC compared to Colorado, and all the resources added to that, being right down the street from Hollywood. And I'm just thinking about everything that's combined to USC just naturally because of his history. And you add that to one of the greatest players of all time in Deion Sanders, who's also, to me, one of the best recruiters currently coaching the game right now. He puts the right staff around him, man. I could see USC coming back up to the forefront. He has Snoop Dogg and The Rock and these cats coming to Colorado. These cats was going to SC years ago. You know what I'm saying? This is where they live. This is home for a lot of these mega stars. Kids who are getting recruited or think about transferring, they see that, and that's something that's attractive to them. If you're an 18, 19-year-old kid, a 4- or 5-star guy, you want the limelight, you want the money, you want to be around that. So I could see him from a pure recruiting ability and standpoint be a big time answer from getting the right players there. Now he will need experienced staff around him, but that to me is the job of being a really good head coach. Like, especially if you're young and somewhat inexperienced, you want to put the right staff around you to make sure that the system and the train moves forward.
Man, that's crazy sounding to me. Because we forget all the time that you've been on this show, like, praising and worshiping this man for the staff that he's hired at Colorado. You were the one that said he had 5,000 years of experience in the NFL. He's got 500 years of NFL experience staff. Now he has to put together a better staff. I'm trying to figure it out. I thought he had the best, I thought he had the greatest staff. Remember we had that argument on this show, and I'm like, 200 years of NFL experience does nothing to college football.
Real quick, I don't want to cut you off.
Sir.
Let me clear myself up. I'm not saying this staff now is bad. We really don't know yet until the games happen. I'm just pointing out the fact that if you go to SC, the reason why I'm saying I think it could be a huge success is purely because of the recruiting side. I'm not talking about the X's and O's side. So the reason why I said the staff around him would matter because of the X's and O's side. And again, Deion still being a young head coach in this thing. I'm not saying the staff he has now isn't good in that. We shall see. I'm just pointing out the fact that the one hiccup per se or the one focus that I would say that he would really make sure that he needs to do is having that proper staff around him. Remember, the last time USC was a true like powerhouse was the years that Pete Carroll was there from. I think it was 01 to like 09 was when they were a true powerhouse. I think they went to like 9 bowl games. He won 7 of them. He had like an 84% winning percentage. And the thing that Pete Carroll was great at, to me, was recruiting. Now, he was good at other things, of course, but I'm saying the recruiting part, you come out here and you talked about, you said Pete Carroll would go into the hoods. He would go to the areas that other coaches were scared to go to. He would allow media to come into practice and be a part of the true community, which made players want to come play for him. And then we saw the results on the field. So from a recruiting standpoint, I can see Deion bringing that same type of aura. But Deion, he won't mind having the local media come in there the way that Lincoln Riley does mine, and he puts a stop at it right now. Deion, he wants the media. We talk about Deion sometimes doing it too much, allowing too much access and recording too much stuff. But he's going to allow that. He's going to allow he's going to be a part of the community and make people feel like that they're welcome to come to SC. And that's, to me, a similar trait that Pete Carroll had when he was there, in my opinion.
Yeah, comparing him to Pete Carroll is absolutely
only recruiting side. That's why I was real specific because I knew you was that was gonna be your little trigger point.
It's still not even close. Pete Carroll retained talent; he didn't lose it. Let's be clear.
Because of a different era, JB.
Yeah, I
get it. Pete Carroll, but there was no they had no choice. You can't
compare him. Then you can't compare him.
They had no choice.
Then don't compare him because you can't. I mean, I'm just saying, because if you're going to go right to a person and then you're going to go back and refer to the era, then how does that make sense? Don't compare him then. You can't. So you can't. So are you comparing Pete Carroll or are you comparing the era?
On the recruiting aside ability and the fact that he will go to the community, the fact that he will make like top guys want to play for him. Yes, I'm comparing him to Pete Carroll in that sense. I am. That's it.
Well, you can't. For the simple fact, for the era, like you can't, because I just mentioned era and then you said, oh, well, you can't. Well, then you can't compare him to Pete Carroll. It just makes no zero sense. Let's just keep it to what we know about Deion.
All right.
He's 4-8 as a Power 5 head coach. We're already putting him in a position to be a head coach at USC, which has been, for the most part, a blue blood school for the longest. Colorado's not. Obviously, we know that. He failed in 2 major bowl games at Jackson State after turning Jackson State into a national recognized program because of who Deion is. He took shitty facilities, turned them around. I know what it is. Basically, he did what a JUCO coach would do at a JUCO, what I've done many times. So shout out to Deion for making HBCU relevant, for winning a lot of games. But then at the end, it seems like the coaching part mattered. That's why I could never compare him to Pete Carroll, even though you said recruiting. Pete Carroll was still the best football coach in the country at the time of him being the best recruiter.
No question.
So, like, a 4-8 guy, which hopefully he'll have a better season, and we'll see where the Ducks everything lands. But to be putting him in this conversation already, just to me, is kind of a slap in the face to so many other coaches who have actually earned the right to be in that discussion. Deion hasn't earned that right yet. Deion has been put in that position because of who he is, Deion Sanders, not because of the coach that he is. He's not the great coach yet. I think we can all argue that. Like, he's learning on the run. He's actually throwing shit at the wall, see if it sticks. And that means, to me, you're learning on the run. We've all been there. But I believe you have to put some successful seasons on the board to be put into a position of a USC, a Texas, a Alabama, some shit like that. Maybe you don't, though. Now, I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe you don't. I have no idea.
The thing is, man, I mean, USC has tried going the experienced coach route over the years, and they've had, like, every other season they'll have a decent season. They'll win 11 games here, 9 games there, but then they'll go back and only win 5 and go 5-7. And just they haven't been able to have that sustainability at SC. So my thing is like why not? Like why not try something different? Again, this is assuming, let's say Lincoln Riley goes out here and shits the bed and they go out and win 6-7 games. That's what we're talking about. Now, if he goes out here and he wins 10, 11 games, then this conversation is null and void. Like it's a pointless conversation. He ain't going nowhere unless he wants to go somewhere. And if he does go somewhere, that means he's just leveling up to the NFL. So Lincoln Riley has a lot of control over this conversation and how hot that seat will be at the end of this season. But if he does go out there and have a poor season, it's like, shoot, you've tried the experienced coaches. Lincoln Riley is an experienced coach. Had a ton of success at Oklahoma. One of the great offensive minds in the game. I know Sarkisian was there, I think, for a hot second. Clay Helton. You had a lot of these like experienced coaches there, and for whatever reason, no diss to them, they just couldn't figure out that funk, that energy. They couldn't get back to what SC really was. So it's like,
but I already told you why.
Deion be that much worse?
I've already told you why, though.
You said you need somebody from LA, from Cali to be the coach.
Why? You just named 4 guys that don't have no LA ties who failed miserably here. Like what? It's not a. Let's keep flipping the coin, homie. This is what it is. Like, you're not from here. You don't know here. So you're gonna bring in Deion now, a Florida boy? Come on, homie. Listen, recruiting travels. If you're a go-getter, you can bring them anywhere.
Right.
But in this era, where we are today, in this era, what is the number one thing we just talked about with USC? Them losing homegrown, number one talented kids.
Yep.
So what makes Deion so different that he's going to keep those kids? Remember, we already talked about what's failing in this state of California. So it would be an act of God to keep this top-tier talent here in California if they're willing to go to Alabama from L.A. to College Station, Texas, in the middle of fuck nowhere, to the middle of nowhere, Missouri,
mm-hmm.
in the middle of nowhere, fuck all these different places. Come on, homie.
You really don't think Deion could keep a good amount of those in state? He's at SC. Like, you don't believe in his recruiting. Again, I'm specifically talking about recruiting, JB. Like, Deion is a good recruiter.
I look at it different, Smitty.
Talk to me.
Just because you sign a kid in January doesn't mean shit if he don't play for you. How many dudes has he signed that never even played for him? And this is not a shot at Deion. This goes for every coach out here. There's coaches that sign 5-star dudes in January every year and don't end up playing for them. Recruiting is retaining. Recruiting is replenishing. Recruiting is adding on to your retained talent. This is not what coaches do anymore. It is a full-on roster turnover every quarter of the season, of the year, of the actual fiscal year. It's a quarter turnover. That means January goes winter conditioning. You get to spring ball March, April. Guess what? 30 new kids. Turnover. You go from March to April, spring ball. You go to summer ball. Guess what? 30 new players. You go from that third quarter to the fourth quarter, which is the fall season. Now your freshman that hopefully you signed from high school comes in to your new blood. And guess what? You are now been back in the portal because guys have left the other schools. And now you bring in another 30 new guys in the fall. So you have 4 groups of new kids in a school, in a program that either A, don't know how to win, B, has no culture, C, has no philosophy, or D, you're using an entirely new philosophy every quarter of the year, meaning you have 4 philosophies in 4 quarters of a season, and there's no way that's conducive for success.
You know, based upon your definition, though, JB, and I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just listening to you. If recruiting is retaining, nobody recruits now and then.
That's what I've been saying. I've been saying on the show.
Like, literally, nobody
I just said it. I'm not taking a shot at Deion. This is everybody. This is a landscape problem. This is a college landscape issue.
So if that's the case, then are you indirectly saying that there's no answer for USC? Like, even if you guys do get a guy who's from LA, from Cali, become the head coach, because of the era and the time that we're in now in the transfer portal, they're not going to be able to retain the kids either, whether you're from here or not.
Yeah, USC is dead, homie. That's my personal opinion. USC is dead. Like, I don't see a way out.
Now, before we move on to our next topic, just one more thing I'll add to this, kind of being devil's advocate. Correct me if I'm wrong, but then just 2 years ago, when it was Caleb Williams' Heisman year, I think it was Lincoln Riley's first year there. Didn't they go 11-2 or 11-3? If I'm not mistaken. Now I think they lost against Utah twice, so it didn't. It was a bad year. Not bad year, but it was a bad ending to the year, and that's not how you want to end your season. But 11-3, pretty damn good. Now, like if somebody told you, hey, Lincoln Rise gonna go out there and he's gonna win 11 games every year, I think people would feel pretty damn good about that. So, like, again, let's give him time. Let's see what he does this season. Last year was an off year, especially with the quarterback you had and the hype around Caleb Williams. The only win, I think, 8 games is definitely a down year. But let's see what he can do now. Let's see what I think this is the year that he has to, like, coach. He doesn't have that superstar quarterback per se, where everyone already knows about him. Let's see how he can really implement this team and get this team going. Let's see if the defense can improve. He's always known for not having good defenses on his squad. He has to know that as a head coach. So hopefully there's some changes on that front. And we shall see, man. We shall see. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt for this year. But if he has a bad year this year, it's a wrap.
But let's be honest, though. I just don't see how Deion Sanders' name is in the mix. That's the question. That's the whole question.
Your boy Paul Finnbaum brought him up. You wanted to talk about him.
I get it, but all I'm saying is there's so many other coaches that are more privy, or let's say more experienced for the SC job. That's 1,000%. And it's all hypothetical, and it's all because he's right now is Deion. Whether Deion's the GOAT this season or meaning the GOAT, meaning the bad thing, not the GOAT, greatest of all time, meaning he's either the GOAT or the hero after this year. And whether he's the GOAT or the hero, they're going to be talking about him at the same high cliff. It is what it is. They're going to continue to talk about Deion while he coaches. Yeah. So that's the reason his name will always be in this mix.
JB, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You know the true answer to USC football and fixing what's going on there? The true answer to USC football is hiring Coach JB and Coach Prime on the staff. One of y'all is the head coach, play paper, rock, scissors. I don't really care. The other one can be the offensive coordinator or the assistant or the defense coordinator. Two of the top guys. If USC football hired Coach JB and Coach Prime on the same team, you cannot tell me that these cats would not get the biggest stars around the nation, not just California, not just LA, around the nation to all come to USC, be motivated, come play. Look at this man right here. Everybody can't coach like Coach JB the way he do. He in the hood right now. And it's not even the hood to him because this is his home. It's your hood. It's his home. You mean to tell me you put him and Coach Prime together at USC, they won't turn that thing around in 2 seasons? Make it make sense, homie.
We wouldn't win anything. We'd be fucking horrible. So that's the thing. That's why y'all don't get it. Can't have 2 chiefs in the same kitchen. Can't have 2 alphas in the same room. Just so we clear, this is why you have a hierarchy in things. That's why you have player empowerment right now. Players telling coaches what they should do and not do. That's the problem. Used to be head coach told you what to do. You listened and you went about your day, became a better human being. Nowadays, we have too many people that think they're all the same level. No, you're not. And Deion can never be an assistant coach because that's not what he can do. He's the face of the program. I can't be an assistant coach anymore. I'm the face of the program. So make it make sense.
You can't be a coordinator, bro? An offensive coordinator?
No, not for Deion.
That's crazy, man. I did this
whole y'all ain't ready to have these real conversations. I'm
ready. I'm ready.
Now, you might. I'm just telling you, these people out here don't want to hear this shit. These are all casual, Smitty. They're all casual fantasy draft king, fantasy fucking football player guys. They don't understand how this thing works. They don't understand that this thing doesn't work like that. Like, you don't get that. You don't make a superstar staff. Why do you think Kirby Smart just, all right, thanks, Saban, it's time for me to be a head coach? Or do you think that it said, all right, now the alpha dogs have caught each other and it's time Kirby goes? Do you think that shit just happens? Lane Kiffin, you think that just happens when, the alpha caught up? Lane's been a head coach at SC, Tennessee, the Raiders. Oh, I'm a head coach. I've caught up. I have an ego. Coaches have egos. Oh, guess what? Nick Saban said, all right, too many alphas. Bye-bye. Steve Sarkisian, been a head coach. Washington, Raiders, USC. Oh, Alpha. Guess what you got to do? It's time to go. Dog,
but what you're missing, though, is what you're not pointing out, though, JB, is there were seasons where they were together and they had extreme success. So all I'm saying is you and Deion had two good years together, and then you can separate.
No. There's a pecking order, Smitty.
I know. I'm saying they literally had success with Nick Saban. I'm not even.
Why? Why? Come on, coach.
What you mean? Why?
Why did they have it? Break it down. You seem to know. Tell us, and I'll tell you you're wrong. Go.
The leadership structure of Nick Saban. Everyone falling into their roles and being a leader in their roles.
Yep. You're muted. I can't hear shit.
The recruiting ability of that staff and being able to have a top 5 recruiting class year in and year out. But the main thing is everyone being a leader in their role. Now, I feel at some point it's like, all right, I'm at that same level. At least I feel like I'm that way. Now let's separate. But I'm saying you and Prime couldn't humble yourself for 2 years and do something historical. 2-3 seasons.
Can I break it down now?
Go ahead.
Can I break down why it worked? Because Nick Saban was King Alpha. It was his program. Guess who came into his program? Lane Kiffin. Why? Because he was a fired coach looking to rebound and having to get his name corrected. And who's the guy that fixed his name? Nick Saban. So Nick Saban took him in. He had a relationship with Lane Kiffin's dad, Monty. And guess what? It's all relationships. Brought him in, refixed his career, got him a head job. But remember, the Alpha started to act up. If you noticed, right before the national title game, he fired Lane, made Sark the OC to call the game, and you fired him on the week off before the national title game. So guess what? He left and became the head coach at Ole Miss. Steve Sarkisian, why did he get hired at Alabama, Smitty? He got fired at USC. He was fired at USC. He had a bad character flaw floating around, an aura about him, and Nick Saban fixed his career. Guess what happens when you fix people's career?
What happened?
Don't the guy that needs the fixing fall in line? Oh, you act like Saban hired fucking Bill Belichick, homie. No. That's the difference, Smitty. That's like hiring me and Deion together at the same time with no issue is oil and water, oil and fire. It doesn't work. You fix people's careers, there's a huge difference in pecking order. There's a huge difference in, where you are. I'm grateful, Smitty, for you, Nick Saban, to get my career right. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I got to do to make sure my image is fixed so I can get a head job at Texas, at Ole Miss, blah, blah, blah. We don't have that issue. We're not coming off of that.
But hold on. There are some similarities. Like right now, your image in the coaching world, for whatever reason, right, wrong, or indifferent.
My image is done. I'm done coaching.
Okay, but again, we're speaking in a hypothetical, though. So you're using this the same example. Deion's the one who's popping right now in the coaching world. He has all the attention. So if you put him as head coach and you had the opportunity to be offensive coordinator, you couldn't, and just in that moment, understanding your history, not history, but like your last few years and how you've been blackballed, and couldn't you use that as an opportunity to be like, you know what? Let me prove these motherfuckers who I am, how great I am, what they've been missing out on. Let me humble myself for 2 or 3 years behind Deion. Let him lead the train. He's presenting me with an opportunity. Like, to me, it's some similarities, no? Like, in terms of not fixing your career, but giving you this opportunity, which in essence is fixing your career. Again, we're speaking of hypotheticals. This will never happen, I'm sure. Well, I don't ever say never, but it probably won't happen. But I just feel like I feel like you're not giving yourself full credit of your capability to be flexible as a coach.
Yeah, it's not about full credit. It's not. I've been out too long now to where it's not like I'm a year out.
Right.
That doesn't fit my mold here. And just to the people out here, all the dick riders like G Wizzy and all these fucking dick
That's
riders.
my guy, though. G Wizzy is my guy.
He's a fucking idiot if you think that's your guy. But let me tell you, he thinks that show, The Last Chance U, wasn't edited. He doesn't even know that clip where I told Malik, don't say that, don't embarrass me on TV. Does he know that was a scrimmage that they edited into the game? But no, but G Wizzle's so smart and I forgot he was there.
You guys
are embarrassing, homie. You're embarrassing. You're actually.
G Wizzy was one of the camera operators, JB.
G Wizzy is actually. I get secondhand embarrassment from a fucking moron who acts as if he was there and knows what happened. He acts like he was in Netflix's studio and editing the clips. Like, this guy's a fucking clown. Do you realize that's why we put the same jerseys on that we were going to wear in the first game, you fucking idiot? So when they filmed it, they could edit it? Did you ever think of that? Oh, you didn't, huh? Because you weren't there. Because you're a fucking moron nobody.